When it comes to taking Young Thug down, I guess Fannie Willis and them said there's more than one way to skin a cat. Hey man, this is crazy. There's so much that came out. It was just too much to keep up with. There's video or there's audio after audio. You got Thug talking about QC. You got Thug talking about Baby and them. You got Thug talking about everything. And look, the only way these came out is if somebody in law enforcement or in that jail did it. I don't know who behind it or what, but I don't think it's Gunna or nothing like that. It could be, but it could be Fanny and them saying, you know what? he thought he was going to skate. Nah, we're going to make sure he can't make no more money at all. And it could be a way to pressure him. You know, now they cut off your avenues of revenue. So what you going to go back to? What you going to do? You desperate. You trying to keep up with this lifestyle. You got bills to pay. Maybe, just maybe, you do something illegal that could land you back in jail. It could be a nefarious plot behind the scenes, or I could just be making all this shit up. Either way, it ain't looking for the good for Young Thug out here. And I got a problem with mainstream media when it comes to this too. Look, in this video, we're going to react to Fantastic Hip Hop talking about this whole botting thing. And he doesn't really play the clip of Young Thug talking about asking about that plug, the bot plug. I'll play the actual clip. It's only a minute, but I'm a little upset with mainstream media and how they've been covering this, or should I say, not covering this. All right, but we'll get into that. Let's get into this video though.
Now, when it comes to Drake, Young Thug, and so many other trash rappers which we are about to expose, well, now, if you are ready to see how Young Thug just exposed how all of his buddies are some of the biggest frauds in rap, and with this, we now definitively know that from him to lame old cupcake Drake, they are faking streams. Make sure to leave that like and subscribe because now really, there are going to be some major implications on this, especially for the loser who keeps whining that everybody else but him and his own side of people are faking numbers. And once again, make sure to leave that like because truly a box has just been opened that will never close, as within this moment, in all of this mess that is going on in what we are seeing as the rap game right now. Well, once again, if you are here not to be Trap Lord Ross or academics, but just want to see how all of this is about to affect hip-hop, well, over everything else, we have just found out something that, to be honest, well, from Young Thug's own desperation to the way he exposed information about rappers he doesn't like, but also ones that he is very close friends with. Well, listen, for all the fake con losers, this is really bad, and so many people are about to get in big-time trouble for this, and what I will say...
Hey, I want to say a couple things first real quick before he keep going, because I might forget. I should have wrote this down. But number one, I know people been saying that this is bad for hip hop. I'm not too sure I agree with that sentiment. This is bad for the people who it's bad for. You can't lump all of hip hop in with these dumbass niggas. All right. That's the same way as when people lump in black people who do crime and act ignorant with all black people. All right. This ain't a black eye on hip hop. This ain't a black eye. This ain't bad for hip hop. This ain't kill. No, this is bad for the people who it's bad for. You still have a lot of people out here that's thriving in hip hop. This is a distraction, if anything, from those who are actually succeeding and doing well. All right, I just want to say that and make that clear, man. Let's not lump in everybody with what these knuckleheads, actually what one person is doing, and that's Thug. Two, I want to say this. Now, I could be wrong on this, but y'all let me know what y'all think, man. After hearing all these tapes, and I done listened to them all, I ain't going to go over them all in none of these videos, but I listened to them all. It seems to me Thug is jealous of Gunna. And maybe he has been. Maybe, and I know in one of the tapes he talks about Gunna and giving him money and the deal. There's a whole lot going on there. But I think Thug recognized that Gunna was more talented. Maybe especially once he got out. Maybe not so much before, right? When Thug was out and he was still doing his thing. But once Gunna made his move and separated himself, maybe that's at the point where jealousy, because, crept in like, oh, he think he don't need me no more after I did this, that, and the other. Boom, he started hitting me with the snitch thing. And to that snitch tape, when Doug is talking about Gunna saying that YSL is a gang and that's part of what the RICO hinged on, I get that. But let's not be distracted. I get that. But that does not take away from what Thug did. I think that whole tape and the narrative that people trying to run with that, those are the people who don't want to criticize Thug like he should be criticized, who don't want to point out what he's doing and focus on that. So now they're like, oh, see, Gunna did snitch, and he basically validated that it was a gang. So okay, that's cool, but that ain't the point of what we're talking about. That's already been settled. None of that matters when in relation to what's going on now. What did Thug do, and was he a fucking hypocrite? That's the main point, right? And these fucking media outlets don't want to talk about it. Joe Butt and Whack 100, a few others ain't even mentioned it. And I get it, they can talk about what they want, but if it was somebody else, they'd be all over that shit. And so it's a bunch of bullshit. But I'm gonna get too far ahead of myself. Yeah, man. But this whole thing is kind of crazy, man. This ain't a stain on hip hop. It's a stain on the person and people who's fucking involved. And there's a lot of other good things going on out here that I don't want us to like get too far as like to start giving a black eye to those things. Like those things were a part of this dumb shit.
As these comments are really affecting everybody from Young Thug to Drake to so many other rappers, and well, as a result, academics and other losers are trying to deflect these nasty things and put them on Kendrick Lamar. Well, I have to say, there really is just an issue around.
Yeah, then that's the other thing. They apparently somehow Kendrick's a part of this because Thug says something about a plug. Mind you, the album that he used the bots on, Drake was a part of the album. Now that doesn't make Drake a part of the bots or anything like that. But if anybody's to be named as being close to this, it's Drake. How the hell Kendrick have anything to do with this?
The information being presented and who people really want to put this blame on. So really make sure to leave that like so everybody can see what 100% is the truth here. And let's really just get into how we know that Drake is a bigger fake than ever, and so are all of his buddies. Which now with this is all coming from the audio drops that are coming from Young Thug's calls of when he was away, of course, and within this, well, from conversations with 21 Savage to comments about Gunna to so much else, well, we are really seeing a rare behind-the-scenes look for these rappers who hide behind these facades. We're now in a rare moment. We are hearing from them without all the ego boosting, faking, and just straight delusion. And now, speaking of faking, this is where things will really start to get messy. And well, with Young Thug's calls, the music industry has changed forever in terms of us just knowing how bad these rappers and artists are really stat padding, which all came in a vocal clip where, first off, Young Thug was on the phone talking about how Gunna's DS Forever album got the #1 spot on the Billboard 200 over the weekend's Dawn FM record, and talking about this, he said when telling a story. Well, first off, this is important. Cash called me and said, which just side note, Cash is the Weeknd's manager, and then Young Thug said from here, the #1 album you had right now, I paid for you to have a #1 album. You didn't honestly earn a #1 album over the weekend.
All right, I'm going to play these clips for y'all and make it a little bit better so y'all can really get the full context.
I said nobody's ever put out 2 #1 albums from jail. Obviously, hopefully you're out by your birthday. You know what I'm saying? But if you weren't, like, that would be historic. Right. And even if Uzi moves, we still have to deal with Morgan Wallen because he's doing 100,000 every week, no matter what.
Who?
Morgan Wallen, the country guy.
Yeah, what the fuck is this nigga doing? Why the fuck didn't we think to put him on the album? Like, what the fuck?
I mean,
You think we're gonna beat the boy?
yo, my man, I'm not going to sleep until we beat him. So whatever happens.
I'll tell you. Yeah.
Whatever happens. So
Yeah, beat
it's
the boy,
like,
then
okay.
beat the boy, then tell the boy you can't beat me, join me.
That's iconic.
Get on this song, young boy. Everything
You know what I mean?
Man.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's try to beat that nigga. You still got that plug, right? That shit what we did with none of them. You still got that plug?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Tell you. All right, my boy.
Yeah. All right, I love you. Call me an hour.
All right, that's that. And you can see right here, apparently Baby and QC P have unfollowed each other. Now let's check this one out.
Trying to do other shit. You know, when he did his 2 album deal with me, Cash called me one day like, "Hey, what the hell going on with Gunna? Who's speaking for him?" I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm nuts." You know, he trying to get signed right here with Weekend signed it, and he demanded he want 20 million. Whoa. So I already done told him like, whatever you want, just say it. I'm gonna give you the money, whatever you want. Just on some we brother shit. Like nigga, I know you can't go nowhere in this world and get no $20 million check from no label. You're not doing numbers like that. You alright, but you ain't doing that like that. You know, like the number 1 album you just had right now. I paid for you to have a number 1 album. You didn't. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, earn a number 1 album over the weekend, my boy. I paid for that shit. I never said that to him. I never told him that. You know, cause we just got the plug on that. Like, you never earned a number 1 album. I spent 50 extra grand buying motherfucking streams, $50,000 buying streams for you to be weak. Like, and Cash know the same plug, so Cash could have did the same thing. But Cash like let it go. Cash just like smack down, like, man, let the nigga on the win. I ain't stunning shit. Smack down like a player. You know, but he did a little deal. He got some little signs for a little nigga from his hood, whatever.
All right. So that's all I'm gonna play of that, so y'all can kind of at least hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And again, even if this is the case, Gunna has been very successful post, jail and all that bullshit. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like Gunna has shown that he's talented enough to carry his career, and whether or not Thug paid for streams, spent 50 grand on streams, that wasn't a key ingredient for Gunna to be successful. Because if it was, he wouldn't be successful at all. He would have flopped instead of thriving after getting out of jail. So none of that matters. None of that matters, man. And I think Thug is upset that Gunna is actually successful without him or his fucking $50,000 worth of streams.
And then Young Thug went on to say that he never told Gunna any of that. And well, he admitted that he spent $50,000 getting streams for him. And with this, these are some big comments. And now, while with this alone, I guess you could try to write this off and say that he was trying to put Gunna down or act like he was really running his career or something along those lines. Well, beyond that, any of the loose ends that anybody could have about this stat padding streams were confirmed in another call that came out, where Young Thug found out that his 2023 album Business Is Business was at a risk of not reaching number 1 on the Billboard 200 because of Morgan Wallen's numbers. And what he did here? Well, while freaking out about this, he told his team to contact their fake streams plug. And let's just look at his words, which read, "You still got that plug, right? That stuff that we did with Gunna and them, and now making this all worse with what we have just read and found out." There is so much to take away here, but at the very core of this, what we have now seen is one of the quote-unquote leaders and superstars of hip-hop over the last decade just 100% show us that, well, from his own brand to his supporting artists there, well, the success that he has created is a mere illusion. And when you see how buddy Young Thug has been with Lil Baby, Drake, 21 Savage, and the rest of this crew, who would just pop up on the same albums over and over again and really just release the same song for years.
Even when it comes to buying streams and shit, if people don't like your music, they don't like it. So I think it's only going to take you but so far. The only other thing, and look, I don't know enough about this to know for sure. Y'all can let me know, but the other thing about this I can think of, besides exposure, because the more people hear something, they kind of, it grows on you sometimes. It has to also probably do with like licensing maybe and stuff like that. So if like a song at least seems popular, maybe more people or more companies might want to license it. Maybe you can get a licensing deal. Who knows, right? It probably has to go to somewhere to all that, but you can't fake influence, man. And you can't fake if people really like your shit. It might show like it's working in the beginning, but eventually it's just going to fall off a cliff. So I'm not sure how much stock I put into that. At the end of the day, though, they're all using it. I mean, who cares? If Drake, Kendrick, Doug, Gunna, Weekend. I'm sure you can go up and down the list, and somewhere in their careers, someone behind the scenes probably paid for some bots. At this point, does that really matter at all? And again, I think this is part of an attempt to deflect away from what Thug is doing and redirect the conversation back on Gunna, the one who has actually been successful. I mean, if you ask me too, unless something starts coming out about Gunna and tapes come out on him, Thug seems more like the snake than Gunna. Thug seems like the type who plays both sides, like the one dude, what's his name? Whitey Bulger, the gangster from Boston, right? All that stuff he was doing. He was doing all types of crazy stuff too, killing people and everything, right? But he was working with the feds. He's working with the feds. It's a snake, man. But then you got the nerve to sit here and talk about Gunna and this and that while you having a whole conversations looking for sandwiches and shit, telling people, I'll tell you what you want, just don't tell the world. Like, come on, man. They trying to deflect from that. The main platforms is.
Well, if you are a stan who is on this other side and watching this, I'm sorry I have to break it to you. Well, when you look at what we know, a lot of these things are making sense. And now going deeper, and when this comes back to people, especially like Drake, well, for the Cupcake Karen, he is done. Because now what we are seeing, first off, well, is that now Drake does have a portion of streams from an album where he has not one but two features and did have a key creative role on, seemingly. Well, where the numbers are fake and they were botted, and no matter what you want to say, in this time where everybody's yelling about what Kendrick did and they're trying to take him down and trying to say all these crazy things about his success, well, just to 100% know that some of the streams hanging around in Drake's catalog are fake. Well, I mean, there's nothing you could say to dispute this. We really do know that there are fake streams for 100% certainty in Drake's catalog. And now with this, between Drake having fake streams and this telling us that that feature stimulus package that they always said Drake had and made him so great and big for was never really because of his name, but it was because of bots and label machines. I mean, we are really finding out so much about the tricks that Cupcake Karen and all of his buddies use to really hold us in one of the worst eras for rap in the history of the genre. But now beyond this, what made this entire situation weirder and what really did feel like an admission of guilt just from the way that they spoke and treated this coming out? Well, came from none other than the door-dashing final boss, DJ Academics. And now what Ack did that just seemed flat-out suspicious and off, well, was use this reveal and major piece of info coming out by Young Thug to try and drag Kendrick Lamar
That was funny. Door-dashing final boss.
back into this and say that these are the same tactics that Kendrick has been using and the games that he has been playing all along to have the greatest run we have seen in rap arguably ever and have one of the most dominant runs in terms of the numbers he has been putting up as a whole. And really listen, when I say that people, including Ack, are scared because their buddies are getting exposed and don't want more people to know the truth about the game and play that they have been running for years, this is absolutely what I am saying. Because to deflect this info of two albums that feature Drake on them getting fake streams and even The Weeknd's manager being confused by it at first, well, to know all of this and suddenly say that the only rapper that Drake has said he still is really good friends with and that will always stand by is somehow moving just like Kendrick Lamar, although Drake has been in these same rooms. He is literally on these albums, and these fake streams also count towards his record. Well,
yeah, again, I don't know how they tying this to Kendrick, man. I mean, this is just like a stretch right here. If anything, this puts Drake closer to the bot allegations than Kendrick. What the fuck are they talking about? So, okay, one, here's Thug again, talking about shit he shouldn't be talking about over the phone, but okay. But then number two, how do we get to Kendrick in this? If you were to draw lines from this discussion to anybody, it would be Cash, Weeknd, Drake, Gunna. I don't know how you skip over all that to Kendrick. He wasn't mentioned. Nobody on his team was mentioned. None of that. But Drake got songs on the album that was bodied. Come on, man. Come on, man. If anything, it ain't looking good for the boy.
And I get off the chair, your DoorDash driver is here, you gotta go. And now while the Drake stans are trying to act like once again, an album with Drake on it from his best friend means that Kendrick Lamar is botting streams once again because Act tried to deflect everything back to him because this is what these losers do. Well, listen, for the rest of us who are in reality, this has not just been the most suspicious proof we have found out about how fake the rule these losers had over rap for a time being was, but it really is showing that for Drake, and this is where it gets bad. Well, really, when you just look at everything and even see the way the numbers have flipped really since the lawsuit as a whole against him. Well, when you just see this and see how hard that the machine was pushing for Drake no matter what you did, which I think could be best remembered by the time where literally every single playlist possible on Spotify had Drake songs shoved into them no matter what the genre was and what they were doing. Well, really, the more we remember things like this and see how hard they were pushing Drake, although the music was not sticking after a while, and then you see what Young Thug is saying and really see how easy they make it to just lie and deceive to everybody. Well, to be honest, what I take from this is that we can really see how this whole group of Drake, 21 Savage, Young Thug, Lil Baby, and all of the rest of these losers, they've all been benefiting from the same plays and methods and with their quote-unquote success. Well, they've all been running plays with these stream farms like they are at a football game or something, and so now to just see the change in Drake numbers with this info being out there for us and even seeing how much Drake was a part of the entire creative direction for the Business's Business album, well, really, when you look at this thing in its proper context, it just becomes more clear that Drake will never escape the bot allegations no matter how much he and his big buddies like Act try to deflect all of that.
Yeah, that's all they're doing. And I'm going to end that right there. If y'all want to watch the rest, you can go check out his channel. But yeah, if anything, you got to think Drake's probably like, oh, man, come on, man. Why you, this tape, this one, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Nah, if anything, this reflects poorly on Drake, not Kendrick. But let me close with this. And we're going back to mainstream hip hop media in whatever form that's in. Now, I have seen some people speak out against it, okay? And some people call it what it is, a few. But all the bigger ones have either said, like Joe Budden said, I'm gonna stay out of Atlanta business. And a couple others, Wack said he is selective politicking. So on and so forth. Well, that's some bullshit, man. That's some bullshit. So these guys can come out and do what they want. They can make the type of music they want, talking about drug dealing, killing, stealing, and destroying, do all this shit, right? But then when it comes out that these niggas is hypocrites, y'all ain't got nothing to say about it. You got something to say about it if it was somebody else. You got something to say about it if anybody else was caught on these tapes saying this dumb shit. Now all of a sudden, it ain't snitching. What the fuck is he doing then? What the fuck is he doing? Yeah, he didn't say the nigga hid the gun under the bed or nothing like that. He's literally on tape telling them, if you want to know something, let me know, just don't tell the world. If you ask me, man, as opposed to being some sort of black eye on hip hop, this is more of an indictment against mainstream hip hop media that won't come out and fucking criticize Young Thug like he deserves to be, that won't talk about it like it deserves to be talked about, that won't point out the fact that, number one, all these niggas is frauds. All of them are they all talk this tough Tony shit and all of that, but behind closed doors, they motherfucking frauds. Period, point blank. They need to be criticized publicly the same way you would be celebrating their murder, death, kill music if it was successful. Right? Their misogynistic music if it was successful. You'd be celebrating it, talking about it deserves a Grammy or album of the year or whatever. And this ain't to talk down on any music like that per se. It's just to say, like, you would celebrate those things if they were successful. The fact of the matter is this: Young Thug, whether it's a persona or whatever you want to call it, set the standard himself. And then he was vocal, calling Gunna a snitch. And depending on what your definition is of a snitch, Gunna snitched. All right. If him saying that YSL is a gang is what makes the RICO is what the RICO hinged on, then yes, that was bad. But this right here, what we talking about ain't about that. That's been adjudicated. That's over. And he's been out here doing his thing, being successful. What this is about is the hypocrisy of one individual who had the nerve, the unmitigated gall, to call out another man for some shit that he himself was not only doing, but doing at a much higher level. Pillow talking, just like a little broad. And the fact that these media outlets, these so-called hip-hop media outlets, are so quiet and they don't want to get in Atlanta's business. Nigga, what? Are you serious? You're not going to point out the contradiction? You're not going to point out how this is? You ain't going to fucking get on the mic and tell kids and the people who look up to these artists, hey, this ain't cool. This is why y'all need to realize these guys are just entertainers. They are frauds. Don't listen to them. Because they telling y'all this, they promoting this, but behind the scenes, they doing that. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And then a lot of the outlets that are at least, I guess, calling it out, they pussyfooting around it. They trying to play nice and shit. I don't wanna. Come on, man. And that's why these guys can get away with this shit. Because there's not enough sharp verbal chastisement when they do this sucker shit. These niggas need to be verbally chastised in the public forum and exposed, but they're not. Because niggas want to play footsies. This is bullshit, man. It's bullshit. Look, I don't care one way or another about what Young Thug did or didn't do. I ain't never liked the nigga or his music anyway, so it don't matter to me. The hypocrisy, though, doesn't end with him. It extends all the way out into the people who report on and talk about the shit, the same people who got reach to fucking hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of ears, and have the ability to call this shit out for what it is. And they won't. Because they scared for one reason or another, not necessarily that something will happen to them, but relationship. Why I don't want to get in Atlanta business, nigga. This ain't got nothing to do with so much Atlanta business. These niggas is from Atlanta and they on some nut ass shit. The fuck? What you mean you don't want to get in Atlanta business? Shit corny, man. Shit real corny, bro. And I just be listening to a lot of these dudes. A lot of ones I was listening to, like. I probably ain't gonna listen to him no more because I don't respect that shit, man. Call that shit for what it is, man. Seriously. What Thug did is worse than what fucking Gunna did. I don't give a fuck how you look at it. And the nigga's a fucking hypocrite. You gotta call it for what it is. You gotta call it for what it is, man. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll check you out on the next one.